Should the Dodgers still give Shohei Ohtani $500 million? Should Mookie Betts win MVP over Ronald Acuna Jr.? Are we getting peak Freddie Freeman? All that more coming up next on Dodgers Nation Mailbag. What up, Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here. Welcome to another episode of Dodgers Nation Mailbag, where we answer all of your burning Dodgers-related questions. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, and let us know. Should Mookie Betts win MVP over Ronald Acuna Jr.? Is this the best version of Freddie Freeman? And should the Dodgers still offer Shohei Ohtani over $500 million, despite the fact that he will not be able to pitch next season? So definitely let us know down below. And also, if you want to be a part of an episode of Dodgers Nation Mailbag, be sure to look for us over on X. Anytime we ask any of these questions, respond down below and we'll feature your question on an episode. Also, do a video submission. If you make a video submission, we will feature it on this episode. But as always, I'm joined by my guy, Spencer. Spencer, what we got today? Fire off with that first question, my man.
Should the Dodgers still offer Shohei Ohtani $500 million even though he can't pitch next year?
In short, yes. Next question. No, look, let's dive into this one. Should they still offer Shohei Ohtani $500+ million? I think the answer is absolutely unequivocally yes. Shohei Ohtani still is an elite hitter. Shohei Ohtani, despite the fact that he just had surgery on his arm, and I want to give you an update on that in a second here, but yeah, there's no doubt about it that Shohei Ohtani is worth $500+ million, and I think that is the floor. I really think that is the get in the door asking price for Shohei Ohtani, right? I think that you're going to see teams try to placate and try to posture themselves where they're saying, okay, because of the fact that he can't pitch next season, maybe we can get him at a discounted rate. That's not happening. When you consider the marketing opportunities, when you consider what he does to TV ratings, the jersey sales, everything that comes along with Shohei Ohtani, he is the biggest star in baseball. He's someone that is, without a doubt, the brightest star that this sport has ever seen in my eyes. I mean, he transcends just your average, everyday baseball superstar, right? I mean, this guy shuts down malls. This guy is a phenomenon, and you bring that to your franchise, he's going to put butts in the seats regardless. And look, the reality is that just if you look at WAR numbers in general, what he could bring you is still worth it. I mean, one WAR is essentially worth $8 million in today's numbers, right? When you kind of break it down, and if he continues to hit well and possibly transitions into a reliever, I kind of floated the idea a few days ago that, hey, look what happened to John Smoltz. John Smoltz, he ended up having Tommy John surgery, and then he returns and he comes back as the dominant reliever, has 55 saves, and John Smoltz becomes the first guy to have Tommy John surgery and make it to the Hall of Fame. And then later in his career, he transitioned back to being a starting pitcher. So with Shohei Ohtani, he's still going to be able to throw gas most likely. That splitter is still going to be nasty. That sweeper is still going to be nasty. So I still think you're going to be able to get some value from him on the mound. And look, the reality is these teams aren't stupid. The Dodgers know exactly what they're doing. They didn't think that, oh, if I'm going to give Shohei Ohtani a 10-year contract, I'm expecting for him to be a pitcher for 8 or 10 of those years. No, they knew that this is not sustainable, right? That at some point you had to pick one or the other. And I wouldn't rule out the possibility of him being an outfielder one day. This is Shohei Ohtani, right? Do not bet against this man. This guy is one of one. And I think that I could see him as an outfielder that could provide value. But the reality is you want Shohei Ohtani, great hitter, great pitcher, ace level starter, a MVP level hitter, and he's going to win the MVP and he's going to miss basically a month of action. That tells you everything to know about Shohei Ohtani. But yeah, just to break it down to brass tacks, is one WAR equals $8 million, right? $7 or $8 million for one WAR, and he's going to be worth 7 or 8 WAR per year just as a hitter. I mean, if he pitches, we're talking 10+ WAR, and you're basically winning on that investment when you consider the jersey sales, the ratings, the sponsorship. So I still think that $500 million, I think that is an investment. I think teams are going to profit off of Shohei Ohtani. So he's a 7 WAR player with his speed, what he can do at the plate, doubles, triples, home runs. I mean, if you look at his numbers, they really speak for themselves. I mean, he has been the best player in the game overall for quite some time. Since opening day in 2021, a 2.84 ERA in over 428 and a thirds innings pitched, while hitting 277, 379, 585 with 124 home runs in over 1,900 plate appearances. Okay, that is sustained excellence. And you also, something I think you need to know, and a question I had when I was diving the numbers last night was, how did Shohei Ohtani perform at the plate after his first surgery, right? Back in 2018, because he had Tommy John surgery back in 2018. That kept him off the mound, and he served as the Angels' full-time DH. And that year, he slashed 286, 343, 505, hit 18 dingers in over 425 plate appearances in 2019. And that's when he didn't even make his season debut until May 7th, because he was still rehabbing from that Tommy John. So I think there's no doubt about it. Shohei Ohtani is worth all the money and then some. And as far as his rehab goes, as far as the surgery he did get, I find it very interesting that he didn't have the word Tommy John in that report. It was noted by Jeff Fletcher of the Southern California News Group that Dr. Neil Elitroch's description did not have the Tommy John surgery in there, and implied that he opted for that brace procedure and not the typical Tommy John. By the way, we need to start calling the Tommy John surgery the Dr. Neil Elitroch surgery. I mean, I know Tommy John, of course, he was the player that was the first to get it, and you replaced that ligament. And by the way, they gave Tommy John a 1 in 100 chance that he would return and make it in the bigs, and he ends up playing more than half of his career after the surgery. So, yeah, medical breakthrough by Dr. Frank Jobe, Dodgers legend Tommy John. But yeah, I think when you look at that surgery, going with the brace procedure, I think that he's going to be better equipped for the long haul. And I think there's no doubt about that he's someone that's going to come back, and wherever he signs, he's going to be dominant. As a hitter, he's going to be elite. I do think it's very interesting about the Seattle Mariners. The Seattle Mariners are a team that scares me. The Giants are a team that scares me. When I wake up at 3:30 in the morning in a cold sweat and I can't go back to sleep, it's those two teams. And we know the history of Ichiro Suzuki in Seattle. Hey, maybe he sees, maybe it's a dishonor to go to Seattle and try and take some of that glory. I don't know. I'm trying to look for ways to feel positive. But the Giants are the number one team that I think you should fear for Shohei Ohtani, because one, Farhan Zaidi, he knows what he's doing up there, right? Their team, the Giants, that they use their entire roster, 1 through 26. They use their entire bullpen. They're smart. They make sensible signings. And I think Ohtani realized at this point that, hey, baseball, when it comes to your superstars, it's the sport where the superstar matters the least, right? It's the truth. It's the truth. I mean, a superstar, I mean, that why you explain how you haven't had a winning season with Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, right? You haven't made a postseason appearance, and they're two of the best players in the game. You need depth on the margins. You need a franchise that can develop, that can scout, that can optimize players and max out younger players. And the San Francisco Giants are a team that they have a lot of building blocks, but they haven't gotten that big fish. They haven't got that superstar that they've been after. Last year, they threw a big bag at Aaron Judge. He's from Northern California. They had high hopes. Of course, John Heyman said Arson Judge is going to be a Giant. That never transpired. That never came to fruition. And then they went after Carlos Correa. They pivoted right away and offered Carlos Correa a contract for over $350 million, and they backed out of that deal, and everyone laughed at the Giants, but the Giants made the right call, because Carlos Correa, he struggled. You see those medical reports, and people are saying that he's a bust. I still think, hey, he's a really good player for a guy that just has one leg, if you look at those medicals there. So I think they're a team that money is burning in their pocket to get a superstar. That field, Oracle Park, makes a ton of sense for Shohei Ohtani, especially for a pitcher, especially him as a lefty hitting bombs in the McCovey Cove. So I hate to say this. I hate to LeVar Ball and manifest and put this out in the ether, but the Giants are the team that I'm afraid of. I'm going to have to wash my mouth out with a bar of soap after this for trying to make this a thing. But yeah, I'm just trying to keep it 100 with you guys and tell you have to look out for the Giants. Also, the New York Mets are a team with Stephen Cohen, more money than God. If he wakes up one day and says, I want to throw $600 million at Shohei Ohtani, what's going to stop him, right? That's the richest owner in the sport. And what I think will happen, Nez Borlello, his agent from CAA, I think they're going to leverage the Mets to get any type of contract he wants on the West Coast. But I can tell you that the Dodgers are going to go all in and still offer him over $500 million. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Mailbag. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. Of course, special thanks to super producer, my guy Spencer, rocking with us as always. And let us know down below in the comments section, do you think the Dodgers should still give Shohei Ohtani over $500 million? Do you think they should go all in despite the fact that he can't can't pitch next season? Let me know down below. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.